Well, it's not football that's coming home, it's Pokemon. Yeah, this is interesting. I know this has been announced, well, since February 27th, obviously, so it's been a couple of weeks. Um, couple of weeks, it's been last week. Never mind. Anyway, yes, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Obviously, they got this from, medieval European knights, sword, shield. So, yeah. It was this, and there was something else. I think it was a Pokemon Direct or something like that, and I kind of got a bit muddled. Like, I'm thinking, oh, one must be perhaps the fan-made thing, and others might be, or the other one might have been something else. But I think no, they're both new things. But anyway, I think yeah, what came to my attention was the fact that there's lots of fan art currently of the three starters from this generation, and I thought to myself, oh, I think this is what the actual thing is. And of course, I looked it up, and lo and behold, Sword and Shield. Yeah, from the logos, I think, yeah, judging by it, I suppose it's probably a single legendary Pokemon, probably a wolf, possibly a fox, but maybe a wolf, which will be most likely will probably have like two alternate forms because Pokemon having different forms is the done thing nowadays. So one will be more attack based and one will be more defense based. And I guess like if you have the two of them go up against one another, they'll probably either come to a stalemate unless they probably have some kind of move or ability which will aid them in battle in some way, shape, or form. Like for the sword Pokemon, its offensive ability will be heightened against a very defensive Pokemon, and maybe vice versa for the defensive Pokemon having more defense against a more offensive Pokemon. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, very very interesting. The the artwork, especially for the for both the titles and the Galar region. Yeah, immediately when I looked at this, I wasn't entirely. No, tell a lie. I was kind of hinting at it looks like Great Britain upside down, and then when I looked at it, and I went, "Oh, it is Great Britain upside down." Yeah, they literally took Great Britain, turned it upside down, and this is basically what we have of the Galar region, which actually also is the first region in the Pokemon world, at least in English, ironically enough, where there's no O in the name. Like all the other regions up to this point at least have one O or two or whatever in the name. You got Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, Alola, yeah, Alola, and now of course we have Galar, which has no O in it. Yeah, which makes it fairly interesting. Also, you can probably read this. This is on Bulbapedia, by the way. It's definitely a game where they're going to return to basics, where you're going to have like choose a starter Pokemon. You travel through the region, go through grassy areas, caves, whatever. Find more Pokemon, catch them to fill the Pokedex, and make a team based on whatever Pokemon you want to use. And battle gym leaders. Yes, gym leaders are back. And you face an Elite Four and the champion. So, well, it doesn't actually mention an Elite Four, but come on, it's obvious, isn't it? If you've got gyms, you're going to have an Elite Four, as well as a champion. Because you become the champion after defeating everyone. So, yeah. Yeah, gyms will return to the games after being replaced by trials in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as it states at the bottom of the features there. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely that's the thing. And judging by the look of the Gala region, like I said, I definitely can tell it's definitely upside down Great Britain. They've actually done an impressive job on that. Funny enough, I can't remember who did it. It was a video where somebody made like a fan-made series of if various different Pokemon regions became actual games. and one of them was England. Well, it was just England. In this case, it's the entirety of Great Britain, which also includes Scotland and Wales. Um, but yeah, they just chose England, and I'm thinking to myself, well, bang goes that theory, and bang goes your videos, because people are just going to complain now, stating that, oh, they've already done it, or they're going to do a proper one for Great Britain, and they've gotten started Pokemon announced already, and this, that, and the other. But who knows? Maybe they'll probably come up with very similar Pokemon to what that guy made up. I honestly cannot remember who it was that made the video, but like I said, he's done an entire series on different Pokemon regions being. Different regions of the world, rather, being Pokemon regions. I think the last one he did was on Italy. I don't know, maybe, or maybe not yet. Maybe Italy might become one in the future. But obviously, since this is a European region at the moment, they'll probably go on to another part of the world for the next series of Pokemon games. Like, if they do decide to do a Gen 9, but we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But this is what's interesting. Well, Great Britain, of course, is only just across a small body of water, the English Channel, from France. France is obviously, or at least northern France, was the basis for Kalos from Gen 6. It makes me think that maybe they'll probably add some kind of connection, as it were, maybe to Kalos. Not saying for certain, but it would be nice, though, because I felt that Gen 6 kind of got screwed over. Yeah, poor Gen 6. They never got the sequels that I think they should have gotten. And no, I don't count Aurus as being sequels. Aurus were Gen 3 remakes using the Gen 6 engine, and that was all. That's all they were. They were Gen 3 remakes. Yeah, of course, they're going to complement like Mega Evolution, which was introduced in X and Y, including new further Mega Evolutions, mostly for Hoenn Pokemon and the like. And this, that, and the other, but yeah, they didn't really get proper sequels. Like, I think everybody was expecting at least a game called Pokemon Z, or Pokemon Z, as we would probably call it here in the UK, where once again you can choose one of the Kalos starters, you get one of the Kanto starters during the game, or in some way, shape, or form, and you get Mega Stones. Heck, actually, we may have even gotten perhaps a new Mega Evolution for Charizard, as well as Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y. We might actually get a Mega Charizard Z. You know, we could have had that, but no, we did not. Yeah, I felt sorry for Gen 6. It kind of got screwed. After Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I was like, okay, then fine. Like, we're expecting like Pokemon Z or some kind of sequel for Gen 6 to come out. But no, they went straight to Gen 7. But yeah, I know the reason why. The main reason they did that was because at the time it was Pokemon's 20... Yeah, it was their 20th anniversary. It was like, yeah, 2016. Yeah, so it was their 20th anniversary. And they wanted something big. They wanted like a brand new generation to celebrate. So that's why they skipped over a Gen 6 sequel and went straight to Gen 7. But I still think it's a bit unfair that Gen 6 doesn't get a sequel. So, in a way, it would be nice if these games might tie into X and Y. Probably. I'm not saying for certain that they will do or anything like that, but it just makes it, you know, I guess it kind of bit justified. Like, for example, remember back in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and of course the Game Boy Color originals, of course, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, where once you defeated everyone in Johto, you went straight to Kanto. And everyone's like, yes, we can challenge the old gym leaders again. Well, most of the old gym leaders. And like get their badges and make our Pokemon even more stronger during like the course of the game, rather than having to beat the Elite Four over and over and over and over again. We kind of do that as well, but it just gives you more stuff to do at the end of the day. And people are like, yes, this is the best way of doing a sequel, which actually, well, it is. You can't argue with that. You go back and, well, some people may think, oh, hopefully they're not going to do this every single time because it gets a bit repetitive. But mind you, that's basically what we've been doing with every Pokemon game, really. Is choose a starter, raise them, raise a team, go through this and the other, play through the story mode, beat gym leaders, or go through trials, whatever, become the champion, and you just continue doing the same thing over and over. So you'll be doing that anyway. It's just at least this way, it kind of feels like a bit of a throwback. And people will be like, oh yeah, this is great. And, maybe stuff in Kalos may have changed over some time. So not everything may be 100% the same in Kalos as it were with X and Y. But still, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe it becomes DLC, perhaps. Who can say? Well, I don't know. I mean, Nintendo. I don't know if they're as big on DLC as Microsoft or Sony, but I mean, you can download games. Obviously, you don't have to buy physical copies. These games will be available for download as well. But as far as DLC is concerned, I don't see them as being too big on DLC. But hey, it's something. Heck, maybe DLC could be some exclusive Pokemon. One thing people are hoping for maybe is a lot of people went absolutely mad for those leaked Pokemon from Gen 2. Speaking of Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And actually, yeah, I like some of the designs of those as well. I'm thinking, oh, maybe they can utilise some of these as future Pokemon. Like for Gen 8 or something. Or maybe like alternate evolutions, like sometimes they do for existing Pokemon. Or just make them evolve even further through different methods, which, again, they also do in later games. So, yeah. Goodness knows what can happen, because at the moment the sky's the limit, because we've only have the names, the region, and of course the free starters, which are here. I had to laugh a little bit because it makes me think that Japan doesn't get our wildlife. The only one that makes sense is Score Bunny, because it's a rabbit. And yes, we have rabbit. Well, rabbits are practically native to quite a lot of the world. But a grass monkey, it's actually meant to be based on an Ecuadorian squirrel monkey. I know. And a chameleon. I actually thought it was a frog with a squirrel's tail or something. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting hybrid. But no, it's supposed to be a chameleon. No, we don't have chameleons. Well, not here in it. We do have them in Europe, but they mostly in southern Europe. So, of course, where the climate's warmer, which does make sense, because being lizards, they much prefer warmer climates. Here we can be warm sometimes, but we're not that known for having lots of lizards. Or monkeys. We don't have any monkeys. No monkeys. Except, of course, one which is a sock puppet. If you're from the UK, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I just obviously don't know what to think. I mean, yeah, obviously the starters, they not necessarily have to be native to a certain region. They just, choose a grass one, a fire one, and a water one. Which ones will be, what kind of animal would basically be best, or be a best fit for that sort of type. So yeah, I can sort of go where they were coming from, but it makes me think, where would one find a grass monkey in Great Britain for real? I mean, yeah, we do have forests, but they're not really the kind of climate for monkeys. Again, because monkeys tend to prefer warmer climates. So yeah, we're kind of a temperate. Yeah, we're temperate climate. Where we have warmth sometimes, but then we can get really cold. Trust me, we can get really, really cold. Especially because it rains an awful lot here. Yeah, actually, going back to the map, we should have. Oh, of course, for some reason, all the mountains seem to be actually. You seem to have some snowy mountains and some regular mountains. The regular mountains tend to be more in the south, and the snowy mountains. Well, yeah, the snowy mountains, of course, are going to be to the north. It'll be colder there. But yeah, Scotland and Wales actually are the more mountainous regions here in the UK. Yeah, England does have the Cumbrian Mountains, but trust me, they're like the babies of our mountain ranges in the UK. If you go to Wales or Scotland, they'll be much larger. Not saying that you don't get a good workout. I mean, people hike on the in the Lake District all the time. That's where our mountains are. And yeah, but England is more well known for its hills. One thing else. So yeah, if this Pokemon region has plenty of hills, then at least they got that right. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. Of course, again, Arthenian legend, which suits Linkara down to a T, because I know he likes Pokemon and he likes Arthenian legend. So yeah, Sword and Shield should be right up his alley. I think the only thing though I have to have a bit of a niggle about is there Japanese box art? Oh, there is. And of course it's going to be Pokémonster Sodo, Pokémonster Shieldo, as you would pronounce it in Japanese. I do apologise. But yeah, hold on. Also featured in this game's first trailer, a Pikachu miniature. Sorry, I forget that was there. But yeah, a few other. Of course, Pikachu is going to be, and he's basically like the game's mascot, series mascot rather. But yeah, the only niggle is the fact that this is going to be exclusively at the moment on the Nintendo Switch. Or as I like to call it, the Nintendo Snatch, as in they like to snatch money from people. Yeah, seriously, Nintendo have really gotten. I've noticed that Nintendo have really become more money hungry, if that makes any sense. Over the years, I mean, yeah, they're a company. Obviously, their thing is to make money, but you'd think that would have, uh, it would have made things a bit more cheaper, as it were. Well, yeah, there's some bits and pieces which are still cheap. I mean, you can still get 2DSs for a decent price, especially if you get them preloaded with the ones which are most common at the moment are Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario Bros. 2. That new Super Mario Bros. 2, the one where you get the incentive with all the gold coins and everything. So yeah, you have that. Um, and they're about 80 quid a pop, so that's fairly cheap for systems that originally came out for, was it about just under or just over £200 originally. So that is quite a drop in price. And I know the Switch is still fairly new, but it still commands, even with a game, it still commands nearly £300. Not, it's about, sorry, about £270, £280. About that at the moment. But it's still, I still think it's quite a lot. But again, the Switch is still fairly new. It's not as old as the PS4 or Xbox One because those two consoles came out just before the Switch. The Switch only came out last year or toward the end of the year before last, something like that. But yeah, but my point is that the Switch hasn't been out for too long. So maybe like the Switch will come down in price a bit more, maybe a bit more affordable. Maybe it might entice me to get one, but I don't know, because it feels like I should at least give one of these games a try, considering it is my home country after all. So, yeah. And like I said, it will play very similar to the Pokemon Let's Go games, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It will use the same engine as those, but apart from that, it'll be back to basics, which that's fair. That's what Pokemon should be. You get your starter, go and explore, catch Pokemon, beat gym leaders, beat the Elite Four, stop whatever the evil team is from doing whatever. Probably something to do with the legendary Pokemon, and that's that. Oh, and speaking of legendary Pokemon, I was thinking maybe they'll probably do like a non box art legendaries like often they do. They'll probably have like a lion, a unicorn, and a griffin. A trio of legendaries like those, because the lion and the unicorn and a griffin would often appear on British coat of arms, and they appear quite often in our coat of arms. So maybe they might make legendaries, non-box art legendaries, maybe based on them. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But I hope though that this does have a bit of a connection to Kalos at least. Like they'll probably maybe not in these games, but maybe in a sequel, or maybe in some kind of tie-in game with the 2DS and 3DS consoles. Maybe they might release a Pokemon Sword and Shield game, not a Sword and Shield, but maybe something like that, and release it for that system. They'll be like the first Pokemon cross-platform game since the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, with Red Rescue Team being on the GBA and Blue Rescue Team being on the DS. So maybe something like that could happen. But for the time being, yeah, we don't know. Of course, it's all just brand new. It's only been announced like last week. But yeah, pretty interesting. The Galar region, upside down Great Britain, and very interesting selection of starters, which are getting a lot of fan art. Like I said, there's lots of fan art at the moment of Scorbunny, Sobble, and Grookey at the moment. And no doubt the fan art will continue. So yeah, impressions are looking very good for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like I said, the only thing is just the whole Nintendo Switch thing, which I have my doubts on, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Joy-Cons, especially since, apparently lots of people find it difficult. I'm not sure, I think people have gotten used to it now, but when it was first released, people have immense difficulty trying to get those Joy-Cons reattached to the console, and often breaking it and have to get new ones, or some might worry that the docking station might scratch the screen. I don't know, maybe Nintendo have sorted it out, or have, released a statement saying, oh no, the docking station won't actually do too much damage to the screen, or whatever. I mean, I can see what they're going for. They're trying to combine a handheld with a bog standard system. Like, that's obviously what they're trying to do with the Wii U, but they didn't work out with the Wii U because you still needed a console to play the games. But in this instance, the Switch is also the console, so that way you can play the games um, on the move as well as being at home, which is, of course, what Nintendo were going for to begin with. So they succeeded in that part. It's just the whole control thing. I don't know, maybe these Pokemon games won't need Joy-Con, Joy-Con support will be an option, but they'll probably have other options as well. Other controllers might be used, or could be used, like those classic GameCube controllers they had. If they have that, that'll do me just fine. But oh well, we'll just have to wait and see. But still, but for what it is, first impressions on Pokemon Sword and Shield, I say, are looking very, very good.